Happy Thursday, everyone. Just thought I would do a quick live before I go off to my second training session for the day. And today's topic is what happens when you're in alignment. And what I mean by alignment is, with your values, your goals, all those sorts of things, right? So when we're clear on what we want and we consistently demonstrate behaviours aligned with, our true north, like our true why as to why we want to do things or our values and the way we want to live, right? Then some interesting things start to happen, right? It might take some time, but eventually, I guess the ducks will kind of line up and things will start to fall into place. And before I get onto that, I just want to recap as well some of the conversations that we've had in this chat, in this forum, or some of the vlogs rather. And I've talked about, the importance of seeking clarity on the type of life you would like to lead, the type of person you'd like to be, the type of leadership shadow you'd like to have on those around you, especially children, close family, friends, and family members and so on. And, really understanding your values and creating goals on your deep why. And a lot of this is covered with my clients and some of the workshops that we've done and through some of the courses as well. But anyway, what I want to do is just demonstrate some things around, why we do this. And the reason is that when we do these, take the time to actually really get clear on this, and as it becomes clearer over time, because, we might have an idea, but it's a bit like a chalk drawing, right? It's not until we start to actually do the actions and we learn more that we start to crystallize exactly what that looks like, right? And the reason we do this is that when we do that, it makes decisions easier and quicker. And why do we want that? Well, if we can make decisions easier and quicker and reduce the number of decisions that we have to make, we create bandwidth to actually do other things that we want to do. And less stress, more productive, actually doing the things that we want to do, right? And what can happen as well is that, when you have these decisions and you I guess keep doing behaviours and things that support those decisions, in the sense you've created boundaries because you've already decided what you will think about, what you won't think about, what's an easy decision, all those sorts of things. And that can be as basic around, as I said in a previous post as well, around deciding what you want to make decisions about. So, if you want to sit there and decide all the small things every day, or do you want to have like kind of a baseline go-to so that all of those things are streamlined? Like, you wake up at the same time, you go to the bed at the same time. I mean, some of these things seem boring, but they can actually create a lot of structure and freedom in your life because you're not having to stress about those things, right? And I use the example around eating similar foods every day so that you constantly have that same energy. It makes it easier. You don't have to think about meal prep, all that sort of stuff, because it just happens. And anyway, the more that we start to do this, is what will happen is that we start to make decisions on a subconscious level that actually work for us towards what we want to do. And so one example I wanted to share is a personal one. So last week, some of you may have known it was my birthday, which was great. And of course, I'm happy to have had another one, and I'm grateful to be in good health and have plenty of energy and strength. And, that's something as I age, I'm finding myself appreciate more and more, right? That aside though, my birthday also marked a really interesting anniversary for me. And what's interesting about this anniversary is that 2 years ago, I neither knew or consciously chose for my birthday to be the last time that I touched alcohol. And 2 years ago, I celebrated a milestone birthday with my hubby and a few friends over like an absolute amazing dinner, delicious wine, a couple of cocktails, nothing crazy, right? I didn't even really drink enough that I was hungover the next day. However, ever since then, I just have not had the desire or the inclination to touch another drink. And don't get me wrong, prior to this birthday and for many years, I hadn't been a heavy drinker in any case. So it's not like I'm like, oh, I've really got to give this up, it's impacting me negatively or anything like that. That wasn't the case. I was enjoying it, when it made sense to, and in moderation. And of course, there's nothing wrong with, a moderate consumption of alcohol, especially when celebrating. It's very ingrained to our culture, all that sort of stuff. But what I was finding was that drinking for me, and just even a little bit of alcohol, was, it does actually impact my sleep. It impacts my training, it impacts my mood and my energy and my gut health and my cognition. And it's ever so slightly because, I'm used to feeling good all the time. used to be on a train at certain level, all that sort of stuff. And since so much of my life has been geared around my athletic endeavours as well as my performance, um, in work and other areas as well, or other life pursuits, right? Like my baseline state is pretty energized and feeling good. So the appeal of alcohol is kind of just dissipated for me over time, and seemingly overnight, it seems. I guess now though, like nowadays, with minimal effort, like I consciously choose not to drink even when I'm presented opportunities where I could. Or I guess probably more accurately, like I've consciously identified myself as a non-drinker. So it's just not even an option for me anymore. And what I find interesting as well is that I'm not alone in this. Like there seems to be a bit more of an emerging trend. I know that some of my friends, especially those parents, I've had a couple of them, they've also had this same journey. But for them, the appeal of even having the occasional drink really kind of disintegrated for them when they found themselves not being able to show up for their kids. So, in the way that they wanted, or feeling very ordinary early in the morning when their kids are like full of hyper energy and need attention and so on. So they just stop drinking. Now, for some of you, especially those with kids or stressful jobs or other high intensity commitments, right? Having a daily drink or two is an absolute necessity for you to cope and decompress from it. And I know during, the lockdowns and so on, that was a coping mechanism for people. And in other cases as well, like it's a necessity to kind of give you a bit of Dutch courage or to calm the anxiety when out in large social gatherings and so on. And that's fine. I'm not suggesting that you need to change any of that. Especially if it's working for you, just keep going. But for those of you though who are no longer enjoying this, or you want to find different ways to unwind, or you've got some athletic pursuits or want to get to another level of performance, or you simply just want to reduce your overall alcohol consumption, then you don't have to wait for a subconscious decision to happen. There are some little things that you could do now potentially without thinking, or kind of making it as easy as possible to do some little changes that might help reduce alcohol. So what I've actually done is I've created a free resource that may help you. And what it is it's just a simple checklist that piggybacks off some of the common triggers at home that will help you reduce drinking. So it's like simple things like, if you have a glass of wine, then once you finish that glass of wine, you go straight away and wash it and put it away so that you're not tempted to then go and have another drink. Or you just buy smaller things. So anyway, there's a whole bunch of little tips and tricks that you can do to kind of set up triggers in your home or leverage the triggers that you have to actually reduce alcohol. So yeah, if you'd like a copy of this resource, then comment below and my lovely